Since I put up my preview of the BRS-32 stove, I've been receiving many comments about additional oddities that are out on the market. Today, in this episode, we will be taking a look at one of those oddities. This is the FireMaple Saturn stove, and without a doubt, it's different. My name is Luke, this is the Outdoor Gear Review. I appreciate you all tuning in. First things first, let's talk about this company, FireMaple. They recently brought out a stove that's dual function. It's a stove and also a heater called the Sunflower. At the moment, there's a lot of interest in this product, and I've been receiving dozens and dozens of emails about it. Coming up in the future, we will take a look at it together. After hearing about that product, I took a look at their website and I came across a bunch of wild stove designs. Designs that I've not seen anywhere else, but at the same time, not all of their designs are unique. They do have copies of other products, which I personally find to be interesting because they have their own unique designs, but at the same time, they have copies of other products. In the end, that doesn't really matter, I just found it interesting. Anyways, everyone, I recently purchased 3 products from this company, and I have to say, so far, I am impressed. If you go out and purchase the Saturn stove like I have, this is what you're going to receive. First off, you get the storage case. A really nice storage case. You do not have a carry handle on this, but the quality of this is really nice. It's very soft, you have a zipper that goes all the way around. It looks more like a mess kit than a stove. On top, we have some instructions, and good news, these are actually in English. And here we have the Saturn stove. As you all can see here, this stove is without a doubt different. I've seen round stoves like this before, but not with this sort of configuration. This is unique. Up here at the top, you have the pot supports, which you can use opened up or closed. On the pot supports, you have some jimping here to hold your pots, pans, cups into place. Here you have the burner head. Now, going down to the bottom here, we have the gas tube, the adjuster, and we have the 4 legs. With these legs, one of them is unique. This one right here. Right here we have the igniter. For the very first light off with this stove, I have to say I'm impressed. The igniter, it worked the first time right off the bat. When it comes to the adjuster itself, I like it a lot. There's quite a bit of tension to it, which means that you can accurately dial it in the way that you want to. It's not too loose, it's not too hard. I would say it's perfect. Now I tell you what, everybody, I'm going to boil some water here and do a quick boil test. And while I'm doing this, let's go over some stats real quick. To begin, the stove offers 15,000 BTUs. It runs on isobutane canisters like you see here. The weight of the stove in the case is 2.6 pounds. The weight of the stove by itself is 2.3 pounds. The weight of the case is 4.6 ounces. The stove is made from stainless steel, aluminum, copper, you have some bronze in there, and so on. The dimensions of the stove when it's in the case, you're looking at 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches, and it's 4 inches thick. The dimensions of the stove setup, it is 9.5 inches wide, 9.5 inches long, it is 4 3/4 inches tall. The hose length is 26 inches. And the retail price of this is $115. At the time of filming, it was on sale for 85 bucks. We boiled 16 ounces of water in about 2 minutes and 31 seconds. The water temperature is around 50 degrees, and today it's around 60 degrees. It is breezy today, and I did see the impacts of that on the stove itself. The stove is powerful, and that water got hot fast. At the same time, it puts out a lot of heat. I noticed that if I got my hand too close to it, for an example, when I took the top off of the kettle, it singed some of the hair on my hands here. So you definitely need to be careful with this stove. As you can see here on the stove itself, the stove has 2 heat tubes. These are pre-heat tubes. That means that this stove can be used at colder temperatures. Basically, the fuel goes through those tubes, the flame heats them up, and you get better performance. Now, with this stove here, you can do something additional that's going to assist you in cold weather. You can invert the fuel canister. To do that, you have to run the stove for 5 minutes. Basically, you have to get those tubes nice and hot so that they can handle liquid fuel. After 5 minutes, those tubes will be hot. You can invert the fuel canister, liquid fuel will go through the hose, it will come into contact with those super hot tubes, and it will vaporize, turning that liquid fuel into gas, which this stove runs on. If you invert the canister prematurely, you can have liquid fuel jutting out of the stove, which is something that you do not want. So you definitely need to be careful with this aspect. When it comes to pots, pans, and cups that can fit on this stove, you can fit just about anything. With the pot supports unfolded, large size skillets can be used, along with a variety of pots and pans. With the pot supports folded in, small cups can fit, including the MSR Titan Cup, which is extremely small. The jimping on the pot supports themselves do hold pans into place and prevent them from sliding off. The company states that the preheat tubes are going to assist you with better performance below 5 degrees Fahrenheit, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense considering this is isobutane. Isobutane begins to perform poorly around 40 degrees and lower. It's at that point that I would personally invert the fuel canister. I would not wait until it's 5 degrees Fahrenheit. That's crazy low. A big question that I had for this stove from the get-go was whether or not it would run on propane, pure propane, like the green bottles. It doesn't state anywhere on the FireMaple website that you can do this, but I did go through the instruction manual and it states not to. Specifically, it states that this stove was designed to run on isobutane only, not pure propane. I did notice in the reviews on the FireMaple website for this stove that many people claim to use the Z1 FireMaple adapter to run pure propane and they had no issues. I have the Z1 adapter, and I have some propane right there. Let's go ahead, let's put on the adapter and let's try propane. Let's see what happens. I want to state that I do not recommend that you do this as well. I'm going to contact the company, get some information, and share that with you all, but I want to see what happens. So, folks, let's do it. The first thing that I'm going to do is just turn this on and listen to the gas coming through the stove. If I hear any issues, I'll turn it off. No issues. Let's go. I would say that the stove doesn't seem to run as hot as it does with isobutane. It's definitely not as loud. Now everybody, I'm going to go over my impressions of the stove so far. So right off the top, I like this quite a bit. The quality is good, the performance is great. The igniter works incredibly well, the adjuster is really nice, the jimping on the pot supports is excellent, the feet, they're a little bit stiff to open up and I like that. The stove is wide and that means stability. If you're going to be using this in windy conditions, you will need a dedicated windscreen. With the pot supports, you can use them in or out, and you can use just about any sort of pot, cup, or pan with this stove. The weight of this stove is not bad, the size is not bad. As far as the amount of space that it takes up inside of your vehicle, it's not bad at all, and at the same time, the storage case is really nice. Right there you have it, folks. That is the FireMaple Saturn stove. What do you all think about it? Make sure to comment down below. So far, I like what I'm seeing here, especially for the price. You have good performance, good power, excellent quality, a really nice storage case, and some interesting features. Plus, we have a stove that features an interesting design, and I like that. In the world of copycats, the same product over and over and over, I definitely like products that are new and different. Thank you all very much for joining me for this episode. Hit the thumbs up before you go. It does help the channel. Make sure to check out my second YouTube channel, A Quiet Place Adventures. You will find adventures on there, new adventures every single week with no talking. It's a great way to relax and to bring yourself into nature. Additionally, you can support this channel on Patreon, YouTube. You can join the Wolf Pack. Not only are you supporting a channel that's agenda-free, that's not trying to sell you products, but you're getting first look information at products that I'm testing out. You will find out when I like products before anyone else. That way you can purchase them if you want to before they're sold out, because generally when I give a product a good review, it sells out instantly. Also, you get direct access to myself where I will address questions for you, help you pick out gear, and so on. All right, everybody, I am done. Do take care, be well, strength and all.